Thank you very much, Professor Mantri. And now, Knesset member Tzachi Hanegbi, please go ahead. Good afternoon. I think that it is possibly that the most important development in the Iranian nuclear program occurred approximately just over 1 month ago, just right in front of our eyes. It was related to secret operations within the Iranian street. I'm referring to the dialogue that occurred in Jerusalem between President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu. When I say that it is that is likely the most important development, I say so because I have absolutely no idea what these two leaders said to each other. It is most likely that we will likely never know over the next decades. But logic requires that each side understands that this might be the last opportunity to clarify one to another in the most intimate and clear and honest way what is the most realistic strategy for stopping the Iranian nuclear program. I do not have the protocols for their discussion. I have no idea what was discussed there. But as someone who has tracked the Iranian issue for many years, during my 8 years in the Knesset, and as a minister for strategic issues and chairman of the Committee for International Affairs, I hope that these are the words that President Obama heard from the Prime Minister. Mr. President, in the year that you were born, in 1961, the most popular hit in the United States was sung by the singer Elvis Presley, who sang the song "It's Now or Never." And in those four simple words summarize the question that you and I face right now. Have we reached the point in which it is clear that if we do not take military action now, which obviously doesn't refer to a single day, but to a period, to the current period of time, we will no longer be able to prevent a nuclear Iran. We did not aspire to reach this point in which we only have two options. Both are clear and both are dangerous. Over the past 10 years, the State of Israel has repeated time and again that it is willing to stand at the front of the negotiations between the international community and Iran. We believed that the international world would would take the stance necessary to prevent Iran from becoming nuclear. We hoped that they would draw the conclusions from mistakes of the past, especially those who allowed North Korea to perform multiple nuclear trials over the past 7 years. But as the Iranians advanced and continued to develop their capabilities, the weakness of the international community were revealed. The Security Council made several resolutions that all proved to be of no value. The Committee for Decisions Made are collecting dust on the shelves in the offices. The financial sanctions that were placed on Iran have had no effect. Thank you for your efforts, but they have not worked. Iran has taken a significant financial blow, and the citizens in Iran are suffering. But uranium enrichment process have been advanced, have continued. At the same time, they're continuing building the nuclear reactor in the plant in Iran. They are approaching military nuclear capabilities by enriching uranium. They are progressing without any interference. And there is no longer any doubt that Iran is proceeding slowly and carefully, but consistently towards developing weapons of mass destruction. We have tracked closely these developments, all the negotiations with Iran in Turkey and in Kazakhstan. I must unfortunately say that the Iranians have left every negotiation meetings as victors. They've gained everything that they wanted, more and more time, as much time as they wanted. The delegations managed to hide their failure, their defeat using diplomatic words, but the truth is that their efforts have failed. Mr. President, we are we're at the end of the race, and at this point we have to pick up speed. We assume that in the very near future, in historical terms, this race will be decided, and one party will reach the finish line first, and it appears that the Iranians are winning the race because the free world understands that nuclear weapons in Iranian hands is a strategic defeat, and they understand that the Middle East is the most sensitive region for strategic weapons, and it will be affected directly by Iranian nuclear capabilities, with unrestrained potential for deteriorating the situation. A crisis might cause use of weapons of mass destruction. World leaders assume that the price of the consequences are less than the price of attacking Iran, and they're willing to pay that price and push the decision off to the term of a different leader or a different government. But the state of Israel might pay the price if from this radical regime that denies the Holocaust and aspires to wipe Israel off the map is intolerable for us. And while others prefer to close their eyes and ignore all of the lessons that we have learned from our history, we will pay the painful price of self-disillusionment. When the state of Israel says to itself it is now or never, our now is completely different than your now. You can wait. You have more options. You can attack your abilities to attack the nuclear plants are greater than ours. But waiting from our perspective means that we are leaving our fate in your hands. That our existence depends on the fact on your order to attack the Iranian nuclear plants. Your now might be different. Your now is different than ours, but now must be soon. We will avoid protecting ourselves, despite the fact that you say that we have the right to do so, with the hope and belief that you will take that responsibility. I don't think, Mr. President, that you should take that you take complete responsibility. The security implications for the United States may change over time. You cannot change. Your interests your motivations do not necessarily correspond with ours. But since we have become a free nation within our homeland by our own efforts. Those who believe that the sanctions might make the difference, some believe that the elections in Iran in June will bring a new pronouncement. We are willing to. We hope that such a developments will occur, and we will breathe a sigh of relief. But from my perspective, Mr. President, the countdown has begun towards the possibility that when we look at the list of options, we will be left with one single option, and it's entitled now, because the option of never does not exist on Israel's table. Thank you very much.